The Lord is also prepared to open doors by putting into our hands inventions of which we laymen have hardly had a glimpse.
There is perhaps no other time in our history, when the church has received more attention from the news media and on the internet than it does right now. We're living in a world saturated with all kinds of voices, because now more than ever we have a major responsibility as Latter-day Saints to define ourselves instead of letting others define us.
See, what happens, brothers and sisters, is as members of the church, our internet use is typically limited to our visits occasionally to LDS.org. But how many of you have gone to the internet just to see what you might find if you pulled up Mormon faith, Mormon religion, Mormon belief, Mormon polygamy, Mormon cult, Mormon temple? Everyone goes to our good friend Google for everything, right? This is today's card catalog. This is the research tool of choice. The question for you, I would ask, is would you feel comfortable not knowing, because I've already asked, you've not visited these Mormon-related topical sites, in sending your friend to the internet and asking them, why don't you just go look up the term Mormon? Google it.
You know, we had this experience many times, over and over again, that we would have a great discussion with somebody. I'd meet somebody, the missionaries would meet somebody, a family would meet somebody, and they would come to church, they'd be all excited, and then something would happen, and they'd go home and Google Mormon. And then they'd read for about 5 minutes, and it was like we couldn't get them to return a phone call. They didn't want to talk to us again. Their demeanor had totally changed. And you know, it was something that there was a lot of really negative information about the church. So negative that even members have been affected by some of this stuff.
So what happens is we have conditioned ourselves sometimes, brothers and sisters, to sit on our hands and wait for the call to come. We are comforted in knowing that we have 52,420 missionaries currently serving. What that does for us, sometimes subconsciously, is we feel that the box has been checked. Therefore, if I don't do it, someone else will. That's not the Lord's plan. Well, if we are sitting on our hands and waiting for a call to come, may I suggest or submit to you that the call has already come. It came at baptism. It also, in Doctrine and Covenants section 4, which most of you have memorized, it says, if ye have desires to serve God, what? Wow! Ye are called to the work. The prerequisite is desire. And that's what we must increase, is desire. Because you have the calling if you have the desire. I would love to say, if ye have desires to serve God, ye are called, period.
Now all of you know that members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are constantly reminded and encouraged to share the gospel with others. May I ask you to join the conversation by participating on the internet, particularly the new media, to share the gospel and explain in simple, clear terms the message of the restoration.
I had this interesting epiphany of thought, and allow me some artistic interpretation. The scriptures, all of them, with the exception of the pearl of great price, speak of in the latter days the gospel will be preached from where? Interesting, isn't it? My satellite dish sends and receives feedback, a feed from BYU television, BYU International Television, BYU TV, or KBYU, and I receive general conference addresses through my satellite dish. My high-speed wireless internet antenna sends and receives information, and part of that information is the gospel being preached from my rooftop. Now, for me, I received a very special witness that there was truth found there. That we have the opportunity to fly over political walls and partitions, gated communities, and other obstacles that we would otherwise have in shouting from a rooftop.